Bless me just for a minute in time, and I began to turn over here and was looking at something I was reading this week, and it's got a lot of good direction in it, and but it explains a lot of the way that we get along. And I'm not talking about just this church or our people. I'm talking about the family of God. We're all one body. If you've been saved and you've got Jesus in your life, you belong to the same family that I belong to. And but the other night I began to preach about the gospel and the power of it and things of that nature, and I began to think about what Paul was reading, a lot about what he wrote, and he began to tell the Lord there, he said, "For thou verily givest thanks well, but the other is not edified." But he said, "I thank God that I speak with tongues more than ye all." Even though Paul just about said you all, didn't he? "Yet in the church I had rather..." Now listen, he spoke of a difference there. He said, "Yet in the church I had rather speak 5 words with my understanding, that by my voice I might teach others also, than 10,000 words in an unknown tongue." Live to see that this week come to pass. I love how God is blessing us, and how that He's blessing us to be able to preach and enjoy one another and enjoy church. It's not that way everywhere. But I want you to think very closely of how that, and get me a cup of water, Brother Jerry. How that what I saw in this week. Brother, we had a sister that had wrote us and said, and thanked us for posting the videos and stuff. She said her husband, a lot of you may have saw it on Facebook, and thanked us for the videos that we posted. Said her husband's shut in. Mildred, he can't get out. And said, Sister Karen said that that's our church. That's our church, she said, is listening to this. And said, "I feel like we just been to church." And me and Brother Nate's had some knocks and bangs here lately from people, and about posting church on YouTube and stuff. And I love it, though. It's a good knock and bang. Every knock and bang's been a boost, I've found out.
Yeah.
They bang the wrong fella when they bang me, because it makes me want to just go more harder at them. And I got that, and it just glorified my soul, that I thought, well, Lord, thank you. This makes it even more worth it. And I told her, and I said, "I want to share what you wrote." I said, "I won't put your name in it, but I want to share what you wrote, and for people." And began to think then, and I thought that was great, and then to have sit there and begin to look and saw where Brother Nathan had mentioned my name in something there, and went to it, and it was Brother Jerry's brother-in-law that's deaf, can't hear, and taught us something new we didn't even know. And closed caption, we all know, is for people that can't hear, and it'll put up the words at the bottom of the screen for them so they can read what's being preached. And I didn't realize that YouTube offered that as a link on their videos. And began to read what he said there, and he said, I can get this closed captioned. He wrote on Facebook, and he said, I can understand this real clear. And Brother Nathan got excited, and you could tell, and I went and looked to see what he was talking about, and turned it on and began to watch the words roll up as I was preaching what the man was talking about, and how it just was word for word just about. Now, some things it couldn't pick up and translate us. We've got a weird way about us, I know, but it did about 90% of it pick it up and translate it to that man. Because if you think about it, friend, how many of us take for advantage of sitting there and listening to something or watching something and just listening to it? We can turn our head and still hear it. We can sit there and put earphones in and no one know it and still hear it. But for a deaf person, Brother Ronnie, they sit there, they can't hear nothing, let alone if it's not a video, they can't see nothing. You know what it's about like to them? It's about like today, it would be about like me trying to feed you salt and you'd be thirsty. That would be about what it would be like, and nothing, void. But when I saw that, it brought joy into my heart to think of another way that there is to get to people. And some people say, well, there's no feeling in reading that. Now, Brian, I'm going to tell you something. Until you've been there and you've done that, how many of you here has ever been struck deaf for a while to where you can't hear a word? Probably no one, unless you was born that way. So if you don't know what they're talking about, be careful what you say. Until you've been laid up in your home and you can't get out and do anything, be careful what you say. Until you, listen today, have not had legs to walk with or eyes to see with, listen, be careful what you say. It may come to where you may understand and know what they're talking about. And then you'd say, oh God, I'm sorry for judging that person. I'm sorry for judging that one. You see, somebody said, well, the Bible gives us a right to judge. Listen what the Bible gives us a right to do. He said, if you judge, give a righteous judgment. Yeah. How many of you here is worthy any time of the week to give a righteous judgment today? Friend, I wouldn't even want to say I am worthy to do that, because we've got a merciful God. Me and Brother Jerry was watching something this morning that I got caught up in. Today, of how over there the guy began to explain. And this guy was just talking like a normal guy on TV, giving out lines and being the author and talking. And he began to talk about how when the woman washed Jesus' feet. We all have heard that story so many times, how the kings, the high priest got mad at him over that. Yeah. But I liked how the man worded it. He said that Christ went to them and began to show them that they would go to men, for their sins and things of that nature. But he was going to set it up to where, it wouldn't take so many different ways and avenues, but he was going to be the one in charge. And I'm glad of that today. Why? Because, friend, listen, if you come to me, I may not say yes today. Friend, all depending what day that you come to me. Listen, it may be no constant, or maybe no to you, Brother Benny, because you might be set in your ways or things of that nature. But here's a man that when we go to him, Sister Amy, he's full of mercy and love. Listen, today, with God all things are possible. Listen today, when man says no, God will say yes today. Listen, there's some, friend, that if it came to judge your life today and where eternity you would spend, they would condemn you to hell if you ever crossed their path, or you ever crossed them one time. How many times have we crossed God here in this land? Brother Jerry, we crossed Him many times. Listen today, that's why He said to the church, for you all sinned and came short of the glory and the honor of God many times. But I'm glad that we have a merciful God. Listen, one that's willing to look down and say, I forgive him, I still love him. Like the song Brother Randy sung, here I am. How many of you catch yourself going and bowing and saying, here I am, Lord, again, one more time. Oh, have you ever had him look at you and say, I don't have time for you today? No. I've never had him say that. Listen, I've never had him say that. Oh, but his ears ears has everly been open. Listen, and his eyes has everly been open. Today, Brother Braden, every trip you've made to Cincinnati, he knew before you left. He knew when you got back how everything would be. And I'm glad of that, Brother Jerry. Oh, he is a God of the living. Listen, today, somebody said your God is dead. I'm going to tell you one of the biggest religions, they say, in this world today, and it is a big religion. You know, I laugh at sometimes how people will say, what's your religion? Oh, I'm glad that I have salvation. That's my religion. Today, religions took a lot of people to hell. Brother, head religion. Oh, what's head religion? I used to hear that growing up. I'm going to tell you what head religion is. It's when you think of one way, more or less fine, socially accepted. Listen, it's when you think, listen, that you're perfect, self-righteous. Listen, or everything's all right. Listen, everything's all right, Brother Nathan. Listen, oh, listen. But friend, head religion is within yourself today. But if you get God in your life, you'll have salvation today, friend. And I'd rather die on what God says about it than what any man says about it any day of the week. Listen, I'm sure there's some might would say, judge me, Brother Benny. There's some has judged you, and they do every day. Listen, but that's all right. Oh, I'm glad that I know the judge of all judges. Listen, what's his name? Listen, today, I'll tell you what, friend. I'm going to tell you, he knew my name long before I knew his. Somebody said, you mean you didn't know about Jesus growing up? Yes, I knew about him, Brother Cody. Listen, but did I know him today? That's the question. Listen, everybody here has heard about Jesus, but how many of you know him today? How many of you know him? A big difference, Brother Jerry. Oh, today, listen, to know God is to have eternal life. Listen, that's the thing I want you to get to today. I want you to know him today. Listen, to know him is to have him in your life. To know him is to wake up in the morning and know that he lets you get up. To know him is to go to church and to go away feeling great and knowing that Jesus walked through the house. Listen, oh, today to know him is to pray a prayer and have it answered. Listen, I love that today. How many of you here has ever had a prayer answered? I'm sure everyone has. I'm sure everyone has. Listen, I love them today. I love them answered prayer. But if God never answered one prayer, another prayer in my life, I know one that I'm glad he that he answered. Oh, when I said, God, I've traveled as far as I can travel. I've gone as far as I want to go, Lord. I'm not getting up here, Lord, until I feel you in my life. Oh, friend, listen. That's when he came in and took up his abode. And I'm glad of that. If you remember that day, what a happy day. They sing a song, Brother BJ. Oh, happy day when my soul sees Jesus. I'm going to tell you, friend, it'll be a happy day when you find Jesus when he walks in your life. Is that all right? Today, I love him, brother. I don't want to take the time. Listen, boy, you get me wound up here. Listen, I'll tell you the way I've been feeling. I told him the other night, listen, I probably didn't jump but a couple inches, but I felt like I jumped about 5 foot off this ground. Oh, friend, what a great time for Jesus to come. I can guarantee you if he comes, you talk about midnight and you don't feel it, boy. I'll be ready to soar home. so on home. Listen, I told him the other night, some call it heaven, but I call it home. Listen, what a residence it is. What a promise it is. What a great consolation it is. Oh, listen, this world is not my home. I'm just a passing through. Hey, a friend, bud, let me get back. Brother Jerry, bud, I want to go back to where the young man was writing, how that he was blessed to read. Listen, you see, friend, God has a way of blessing that we, listen, it may not be your way, it may not be my way. Listen, but it don't matter my way or your way. It matters His way today. My way, I guarantee, wouldn't be perfect. It had bumps in the road. It had turns that you may not could make. Listen, you see, friend, how many of you here have ever heard of something that man's done that's been a perfect thing? It's not, it can't be. Listen, there will be something that someone will come up short on. Listen, oh, but this plan called salvation, there's never been a bump in it. Why? Because it involved the blood of Jesus. And listen, if the blood of Jesus walks right through your life and flows through it, friend, it'll be perfect today. Listen, give me Jesus, give me Jesus. Bless His sweet name. Lord, I'm not worthy for your blessings here. Sometimes this gospel amazes me. Oh, but listen, I declare to you, listen, it's not mine, it's all His. Listen, but I'm glad I can give it away and give it away freely. I love Him, Brother Jerry. Why do I love Him, son? Because He first loved me. He's been good to me. Listen, sometimes I say, Lord, You're too good to me. Oh, listen, but think about it today, friend. If you're living and sitting here today, God's been good to you. Listen, and friend, there's a reason for all things. Brother Jerry, listen, there's a reason for all things. We don't understand it all the time. I've told many mother that's walked by the casket of their children and cry and say, why? I've told them there's a reason for all things. Listen, God knows about it all. Friend, we can't offer much solace here. We can't offer much consolation here. Job said, we're miserable comforters here in this land, and we are. But I'm going to tell you something, friend, today. There's one thing, rest assured. I'm glad that when those walk by my casket, I've told them, Brother Cody, listen, I love so much. Listen, when you walk by, you sisters, don't walk by and just look at me. Listen, today, listen, oh, but throw your arms up. I don't care if it's in Cincinnati, and shout, I'll meet you on the other side. I want people to know that there's a heaven to gain and a hell to shine. Listen, today, I'm not ashamed of that. Listen, I'm not ashamed of Him today. Why? Because hope maketh not ashamed. And He is my hope today. He's my life. He's my all in all. Listen, you know, I said the other night, and I do today, seems like fire just right in my bone. But I'm not going to take the time. Listen, I know these brethren here, we've got better preachers than me, but I want to get right to this. Here's what he said. He said, brother, now after he said, then 10,000 words in an unknown tongue. He said, brethren, be not children in understanding. You think about it, how many times have you been told growing up by your parents sometimes, quit acting like a child? What about that? That's what Paul was saying. Brethren, quit acting like children. Listen, in understanding howbeit, malice be children, but in understanding be men. Meaning, today, how many of us here play around, cut up and joke? Brother, every one of you do because I've done it with you. Listen, but he said when it comes to this word, listen, have understanding as men would. He said like this, in the law it is written, with men of other tongues and other lips will I speak unto this people, and ye for all it will they not hear me, saith the Lord. Wherefore the tongues are for a sign. Listen, not to them that believe, but to them that believe not. You see, friend, today, how many knocks, Brother Dave, have we got over these things? And every one of them comes from people that's supposed to belong to the church. Listen, I'm going to tell you something, friend. One of the church's biggest problems here in this land is not been people that don't belong, but it's been people right in the church. Listen, today, President Biden, you say that, Jason, because it's good advice on Sunday as it would be on Saturday. Listen, today, friend, the word, he said, my word has gone out and it'll not return to me void. I don't know how that he pleases to send it, but it's pleased by whereunto he sends it. And it'll not come to him void. Brother Benny, listen, the other day, Brother Will was down in Winchester, Kentucky, and he ran onto a young man that asked him, where did you have your wedding at? And he told him over at the Lexington church, and he brought my name up. And that young man looked at him and said, shut up. He said, I've got Jason CDs. And he said, I've about worn out. And listen, he said he preached my cousin's funeral, got killed in a car accident. Listen, up in Floyd County. And he began to tell me more about it, and it hit me. I said, that's Brother Dennis' kids and Brother Carmen Akers' grandson. Listen, and he said, he seems like he said, someone like that. Friend, I'm going to tell you something today. That young man, and I never even told Brother Will this because it didn't come to me till later. The parents told me that young man, listen, when they went and got in his truck, he was with another friend in his truck when he got killed. They said when they went and got in his truck for the first time to move it, they started it up. When they started it up, listen, the singing, my singing was the first thing they heard. That's what that young man was listening to. They said before he died, that's all he listened to. And it seemed like he had turned into something different than what he was. Talking about change today. Somebody said, that's good, Jason. It's nothing I done. It's nothing you've done. But listen, it's what God said about it. This brother right here, I've been on him for a long time. I heard him sing in a video someone else done. And I asked him, try to come and sing for us. Even asked him for a CD. He said, I don't have any. And I told him, you should. You should. I'm going to tell you something, friend. Oh, if God gives you a gift, you should be willing to use it. To His glory, to His honor today. That's what it's about. When I was 16 years old, over at the Cold Springs Church and Little Dove Churches, listen, the Little Dove Church up here in Little Mud decided to build a new church house. Listen, and they went, brother, a lot of poor people here in these parts, poor all over. We're all poor if you really want to calculate it up. Ain't none of us rich or his son today. But I want to tell you, friend, Jason had this idea. I thought to myself, listen, I'll make a tape. And a lot of you remember old Johnny Hall from over at Hall Funeral Home. He told me, he said, you go make it and I'll pay for it. Listen, and they can sell them and raise money for the church. Listen, and I thought to myself, that's a good idea today. And I went and I made about, 200 or 300 tapes and gave them to the members of the church. And they began, and I told them like this, Brother BJ, I said, don't you sell one of those tapes. Listen, if anybody wants to know how much they are, you just tell them, listen, it's for a donation today. Listen, I want to show you something. I'm getting to a point, Brother Jerry. And I said, you just tell them it's for a donation and whatever they want to give. And if they don't have the money, I said, you just let them have it today. That's all right. Oh, listen, they began to move out and sell those. And it only cost $500 back then having the tapes made. And brother, when they were done, listen, they had raised almost $5,000 for the Little Dove Church. But I want to tell you what happened in the midstream. Brother Jerry, you remember this well. One Saturday morning, do you remember them old time business meetings? Listen, one Saturday morning, I showed up at my home church Oh, there was the brethren of old lined up. They had it ready for me. Listen today. Oh, listen. Had it not been for just a few that was there, Brother Freddie Kidd and them, listen, brother, they had gathered there that day to have the Cold Springs Church exclude me for making tapes and then being sold. Listen, boys, my heart went to pounding on me, thinking I never made a dime off of them. Listen, today, but that wasn't good enough for them, brethren. Listen, I want to tell you what came of it today, friend. Listen, one of the deacons stood up and said, "Brother, what about your chicken and dumpling dinners that you raised money for? What's the difference?" But listen, after it was said and done, them brethren left, told me not to do it no more. Told me not to do it no more, you know. And I lied to them brethren there that day. Listen, I told them, okay, I wouldn't listen. But Brother Jerry, if the opportunity arose for a good cause, I'd do it again. I'd do it again. Listen, today, friends, so would you. Oh, Jason, why are you telling us this? Listen, there the young man in Winchester. There the young man that was killed in a car accident. Listen, what would have came of them boys? Listen, if we would have done what them brothers said and quit it and throw them away. Brother, listen today. Be careful if you judge. Give a righteous judgment. And there's only one that can do that. And that is Jesus Christ. And tell me something today, friend. If He didn't judge it, okay, then I'm the worst old boy that ever walked. If I'm never sing a song here in this land again, Brother Will, I'm glad I can say He's blessed me to sing before. Listen, but I've got brethren that can sing if I can't, and I thank God for that. I've got sisters that can shout if I can't, and I thank God for that. And my whole point is, friend, be careful how you look at things. Be careful how that you judge things, because the way that you look at it and the way that you judge it, friend, may be the very thing that may cost you a lot of blessings in this life, if not the rest of your blessings here in this life. If we all could, and we're all guilty of that, if we all could say, "Lord, what do you want done about this? Lord, how do you want this to be taken care of?" You know what would happen? If we would do that in faith believing, He would bless our lives, bless our church more, because we're letting Him take care of things. And I believe that He is today. I believe that He is. That's why, church, it's time. You got to be on fire. You got to be on fire. Somebody said, "What do you mean on fire, Jason?" Friend, if you're sitting on your seat saying, "I wished I could get up," that's not on fire. That's not on prayer. Oh, Lowery can sit there and I'll get up off my seat if I get blessed. You won't have to ask me. I don't care who's up. I'll get up. If you're sitting back here and you're thinking to yourself, "Well, I'll just wait. Maybe the next fellow gets up, might do better." Now, friend, it might be the very one that may get up that may set your soul on fire. Pray, and God can bless. Let me close with this. He said like this: "Now if Christ be preached that He arose from the dead, how say some among you," He said, "that there is no resurrection of the dead?" Friend, if you're here today, I'm going to tell you this. If you're here today and you've came to the point in your life that you're willing to surrender all, that's when Christ is going to come in. Is that not right?
Yes.
You'll never understand things that you've heard preached. You'll never understand things until you get the Spirit to understand it with. But I can tell you one thing like this. If you're on your knees, or if you're in the bathroom, or if you're in your car praying, I don't believe in no particular place. But wherever your heart is humbled down at, you're going to have to be willing to not think of how Grandpa said you get it, how Grandma said you can get it, how Mom said you can get it, but rather to your heart be sincere with God. And when He does, when you do, I can tell you this, that just as a lightning would strike, Christ will be standing there beside of you. How many times have you guys said, Lord, where are you at? Lord, where are you at? I can't feel you. You know why you can't? Because your stubborn heart is not opened up and let you. But Brother Jerry, just as soon as you can say, Lord, I know you're here, because He's always there, you'll feel Him as if the lightning bolts right next to you. Christ was once dead, but behold, He said, I'm alive, and I'm alive forevermore. And behold this, the Bible says He will come quickly, and His reward is with Him. Friend, I'm not going to be judged that day. I've already been judged worthy of salvation. Amen. Get ready here on this side of the grave for one of these days when He returns. If you're not going to be, it's going to be too late. They come and get pamphlets out at home that says, we need watchtower helpers. We've got watchtowers, and they're watching for Christ to come back again and to walk down on this earth. I'll tell you what, don't have much problem with the watchtower, Brother Benny. You watch for Him coming back, because He's going to come back. But one thing about it, you don't have to spend a lot of money to build it up high. Because I believe everywhere, every place that you are here on earth, when He comes back, you'll see it, you'll know it. It'll shake the earth you're sitting on. Friend, if you're not happy today, I know a man that can make you happy. And come on, I took too long, I felt good. One of you brothers, kind of.
Come over,